Hey, hello, my name is Helen and I am back today with album review number 2. Today I'm going to be reviewing BlockEurope's PTSD. Now, this album, okay, when I first heard about it, I wasn't too sure because Home Alone was for me personally, Home Alone was such an amazing body of work. I mean, I still listen to it on repeat nowadays. So I kind of, in my head, I was thinking, can it really be topped? And then to add to that, I also saw, obviously, when the track list was dropped, that there was 28 songs. Now, in my head, that didn't quite compute. I honestly don't think in any situation there is any need whatsoever to have 28 songs on one album. Like, seriously, you literally could have made like two albums and an EP out of that number of songs. So I was a little bit dubious to start off with, but obviously, if you pay attention, you know I am a big BlockEurope fan anyway. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna hear it out. And yeah, I really wanted to. I was excited anyway. And I mean, I was not disappointed at all. From first listen, I was confused, I would say. I mean, what I had in my head was something that would have similar vibes to what was presented to us in Home Alone. And one thing I realized very quickly as I got into the album, further and further into the album, is the vibe and the tone and the energy was just so different. I feel like with Home Alone, it was very much jewelry, money, bitches, cars, you know, drugs, sex, all them kind of things, but it was very much focused on the positives of their life and what they're doing. I mean, obviously Home Alone was a mixtape as well, not an album, which is what this is. So I was just kind of like, oh, shit then, this wasn't what I was expecting, like. But as I listened to it again and again and again, my opinion did start to change very rapidly. I mean, my favourite songs on the album so far, which this is subject to change, are Outside, Thug, and Whole Summer. Now, Whole Summer, I thought was such a fucking vibe. Like, in my head, I'd completely forgotten that Chip was able to produce music like this. I forgot that he had them, he does have them vibes, because obviously he's known for the grime thing or whatever, blah, but I mean, he does have the remix with Alkaline and Kojo Funds, the Extra Lessons remix, which is a big fucking tune. And obviously I forgot about them tunes that he had. I think it was on his album. I can't remember this specific, you know, I've got the song in my head right now, but I can't remember the names. But obviously in my head, like I said, I was just thinking of him as like a rapper and like more of a storyteller, and I forgot that he was able to produce music like that. And I feel like D-Block kind of brought that out of him again, because we haven't really seen that side of him recently. And I mean, Outside and Thug, I think they're so amazing. Like, honestly, they're gonna be my new emotional songs, because that's what I feel like they are. Like, with those two songs, it was so crazy because they actually produced an emotive response from myself, and just from speaking to other people, I know that other people felt exactly the same way. Like, it actually made you feel a type of way. It's one of them songs that touch you, like you actually feel it a lot. And that's what I feel like with this album, you feel a lot more than you previously had with them. They did say before they dropped it, Ads and LB did say before they dropped it, this is an opening to us. This is us, this is raw, unfiltered. It's not like anything you've ever seen before. And honestly, I think that is really what they did, because there are some absolute gems on this tape. Like, and I can't wait to keep listening to it and keep taking in the songs more and more. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have the same playback factor for me yet, but I know as I listen to it repeatedly, it's gonna do that. I mean, obviously I got my top 3, but there is so many songs that I loved off the album as well. However, like I said, 28 songs on an album is too much for me, and I do feel like there was probably like 3 or 4 songs maybe that were just kind of fillers, and they didn't really add too much. But like I said, you know, subject to change, innit? But I mean, you could have always like split it up a bit more, but obviously that's not what they wanted to do. And you know, I'm gonna take in those 28 songs. Not all of the features made sense to me, however. I mean, the M Huncho tune was okay, but that tune itself didn't actually it wasn't structured in the same way that obviously a song was. You've got the hook, you've got the chorus, blah blah blah. You kind of had Huncho doing his thing, LB doing his thing, and Ads doing his thing. And I mean, the verses were decent, but as a song, I don't really think it came together well. Okay, Trap's feature, I was not a fan of at all. Like, I don't know. I feel like he could have gone a whole lot harder than he actually did. And I was quite disappointed by that one, to be honest. But then again, their styles are very, very different. So, I mean, it does kind of make sense in a way, but it just weren't really my cup of tea. Obviously, you had the Playing for Keeps video, which him and Rapman produced. Obviously, you had Dave in it. If you saw the video, there was a lot of big faces in there. And it was interesting the way they did it. And I definitely feel like it added to the hype and it helped to build the hype before the actual album was released. I mean, there's just so many tunes. I mean, from what I went out of my way to take my own polls and speak to people about what their favorites are, but from what I've seen, Darling's up there, Bando and the Sat Nav, obviously Outside, and Yxng. That was another good one, and I fucked with that one a lot because I feel like they kind of switched it up a little bit, done something a little bit different, but I mean, it worked, it was smart. Another thing that disappointed me as well was the young Bane features though, because I feel like everyone was waiting for these Bane features for so long that it was so overhyped. Everyone was expecting it to be amazing, that by the time we actually listened to it, and especially in comparison to the other features, like I said with Chip, Lil Baby, even the Krept and Konan tune, like those features went hard. The people that were featuring on went hard, and I honestly don't think Bane done anything stand out on them tunes. Like, I was not feeling that at all. I heard the first tune and I was like, oh, it's okay, it's all right. And then I had the second tune with Bane on it and I was just not feeling that one at all. I mean, yeah, AJ Tracey didn't feel his feature either. I feel like they didn't need as many features as they had on the album, to be honest. But like I said, 28 tracks, that's a lot. We also had one solo track from LB and one solo track from Ads, and I honestly think they've done their thing so much. And I mean, shout out to LB. LB has improved massively. And I mean, people used to cuss him so much at the start. He's shit, he can't rap, he's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, like, he's definitely levels. He's levels, and people need to start putting some respect on his name because he went in, he was fucking cold. And it's amazing to see the progression that he's made from when he first kind of started rapping into where he is now. And I mean, Ads has always championed him. He's always said he would not be in the position that he's in right now if it wasn't for LB. So for the fact that they've been able to grow together like that is really, really nice to see. And I mean, just from the start, the skit that they used, it was different. It was very, very different. And I mean, obviously with UK rappers, you do get people that have skits at the beginning, you know, the intro, the outro, midway and whatnot, but I don't feel like we've had anything like this before, highlighting PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And it's a very, very real thing, especially with, you know, this kind of lifestyle that people live, the culture. I mean, people have been through things and they really do find their own ways to deal with them. And it was kind of like, for me, Ads and LB were kind of answering people's questions. People saying, why do you act like that? Why do you talk about sex so much? Have sex so much? Take all these drugs? Talk about taking all these drugs? And it's like, here you go, here's our answer. It's not something we can control, but it's something that we can show you creatively. And I thought it was like a proper special thing. And I mean, the intro, the first song was a fucking banger though, I can't lie. Like, every time that I listen to it, I forget about it, listen to it again, and I'm just like, oh shit then. Oh my God, okay, all right. For me, especially with the whole, you know, 28 song thing, each song you add makes another one less memorable. And I know in my head, I've kind of already cancelled out a few of the songs. I'm just like, yeah, I've heard it a couple times, I'm really just not interested, especially because there is so many songs and you're just skipping, or just jumping from one tune to the next. Like, especially like me, I like to listen to, I might not listen to all the song, but I'll listen to parts of it, skip to another one, come back to it, kind of just so I can get a different feel for it each time. The feel of the album in itself, obviously Home Alone was a mixtape, but I mean, in comparison, it feels a lot rawer and a lot more personal. And I feel like people were able to gain much more of an insight into their thoughts and their feelings. And it's mad because at first I feel like because of the music that they put out there and the music that they portrayed of themselves, a lot of people couldn't relate. But the music that they put out in this tape is giving people that kind of opening where it's like, we all go through the same things. We all have the same struggles, we all have the same pains. I mean, it's not completely the same, but we all understand. We can all understand what each other's going through, and we can kind of, yeah, it's a lot more relatable. This album was definitely a lot more relatable, especially to the average person, when you're not talking about drip this and drip that and money this and money that. One thing I have a problem with is people saying that D-Block are trying to be American or trying to sound American or something along those lines. But my thing is, if I said to you now, play me a song from an American artist where D-Block sounds like them, no one could do it, because it's not possible. They have literally created their own sound. Their sound is completely unique to them, and they've definitely taken elements from the UK music scene, the US music scene, and they've put that together, and they understand what works for them, they understand what sells for them, and they understand what their fans and their audiences do want. And I mean, especially after Home Alone, and then you've got PTSD now, which is a very different feel. I feel like what's gonna come from them next is gonna be some back to the old ways type of shit. Like, I feel like we're gonna start getting some freestyles, like some actual rapping freestyles. They've found their niche. They've definitely found their niche, and they're running with it. And to be honest, I feel like this album is gonna be very, very successful. My opinions on the album, I don't know. I really, really, really expected something different and compared to what I got, but I'm very, very happy with what I got. I mean, I'm not too crazy into all of the songs, but there is a very, very strong body of work, and I feel like the UK scene needed it, because, you know, I feel like we've definitely been lacking at the moment. And just, what is their problem with their girlfriends' friends? I don't know what kind of shit they went through with them, but if these guys can't stop mentioning them, your friends are bitches, your friends are that, you're not chilling with them, you're not chilling with that. I suggest you guys actually, you know, try and make friends with the friends of your girls, and things might go a little smoother. But yeah, he's touched on everything: parenthood, growing up, mental health, what you've been through, you know, the streets, all that kind of stuff. They literally touched on everything, and they really, really did a good job. Me personally, out of 10, I would give the album an 8.5. I would say I did really enjoy it. I am still enjoying it, and I feel like as time goes on, I'm gonna enjoy it more and more and more. There are certain songs that I have had on repeat, and it got really, really hard to keep on listening to the whole album, because yeah, certain songs just kept catching my attention, and I just repeated again and again and again. If I was to check my Spotify, how many played or whatever, it's too many times considering I'm supposed to be talking about an album. But yeah, that is the BlockEurope PTSD album review.